Less than a minute remaining. I love this part. Anybody's out there, thanks for tuning in so early. And if not, streaming is its own reward. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Real American Streaming Experience. I'm your guest host, Johnny Millwater, filling in for Butch Hockersmith, who's unavailable on Sundays, which is his biggest day for fireworks. I'm very excited to be here. I got a lot of fun stuff to share with you today. But first, let's do our warm-ups. What do you say? Hey, check out the new backdrop. Nice, right? Lights, huh? Classy. That makes me feel pretty good. All right, let's start with vocal exercises, and then we'll get going. Let's start with a simple one. Red leather, yellow leather, 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 red leather, yellow leather. Toy boat, 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 toy boat. Good blood, bad blood. 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 Where'd it go? Good blood, bad blood. I have all these written down somewhere. That's inconvenient. Good blood, bad blood. Maybe I closed it by accident. Good blood, bad blood. Good blood, bad blood. Here we go. Unique New York. That's what I forgot. Unique New York. Unique New York. Unique New York. Try to sing them along if you know the words back home. Unique New York. Unique New York. Unique New York. Unique New York. 11 benevolent elephants. 11 benevolent elephants. 11 benevolent elephants. 11 benevolent elephants. I am a thistle sifter. I have 7 sieves of unsifted thistles and 7 sieves of sifted thistles, for I am a thistle sifter. Amidst the mists of fiercest frosts, with barest wrists and stoutest boasts, he thrusts his fists against the post, and still insists he sees the ghost. Oh, what a to-do to die today, at a minute or two to 2, a thing distinctly hard to say, but harder still to do, for they'll beat a tattoo at 20 to 2, a rat-a-tat-tat, a tat-a-tat-too, and the dragon will come when he hears the drum, at a minute or two to 2 today, at a minute or two to 2. She stood on the balcony, inexplicably mimicking him hiccuping, and amicably welcoming him in. She stood on the balcony, inexplicably mimicking him hiccuping, and amicably welcoming him in. 2 more. She stood on the balcony, inexplicably mimicking him hiccuping, and amicably welcoming him in. She stood on the balcony, inexplicably mimicking him hiccuping, and amicably welcoming him in. Ooh, while we warm up. And finally, the announcer's test. 1 hen, 2 ducks. 1 hen, 2 ducks, 3 squawking geese. 1 hen, 2 ducks, 3 squawking geese, 4 corpulent porpoises. 1 hen, 2 ducks, 3 squawking geese, 4 corpulent porpoises, 5 limerick oysters. 1 hen, 2 ducks, 3 squawking geese, 4 corpulent porpoises, 5 limerick oysters, 6 pairs of Don Alfonso's tweezers, 7,000 Macedonian warriors in full battle array, 8 brass monkeys from the ancient sacred crypts of Egypt, 9 apathetic, diabetic, sympathetic old men on roller skates with a marked propensity for procrastination and sloth. Midget Roger rejects gadgets for a major magic agent. Midget Roger rejects gadgets for a major magic agent. I have been given the responsibility of implementing a new client data management system for our organization. I have been given the responsibility of implementing a new client data management system for our organization. What some are calling indoctrination is plain old hateful bigotry rooted in a pseudo-Christian, heteronormative, toxic, patriarchal, white supremacist, capitalist, exclusionary delusion. What some are calling indoctrination is plain old hateful bigotry rooted in a pseudo-Christian, heteronormative, toxic, patriarchal, white supremacist, capitalist, exclusionary delusion. All right, I am warmed up. Let's do some singing warm-ups. right, and all right, I'm loose. Feeling good. Let's go check in on the chat. Whoop, what's it say? Oh, I got a cheer there. UGLY. You ain't got no alibi. You ugly. You ugly. That's not very supportive, Doc. We're just getting started. Welcome to the new chat suite. Pretty nice, right? I got lights. I got neon over there. It's just a ride, just to remind you. I got a teleport magic box over there that we can travel in time and space or bring in guests, watch videos, whatever we're in mind. But mostly right now, we just fill in with the chat. So whatever you type in the chat will show up there in the magic box. But for now, let's spin the wheel. Lonely. Here we go. Got a lot of updating to do on the wheel. Come on, here we go. Here we go. Something good, something fun. I'm all warmed up. I'm ready to roll. Let's make some magic. Song! Let's head on down to the theater. I would like to sing Strangers in the Night. Made famous by Frank Sinatra. Strangers in the night, exchanging glances, lovers in the night. What were the chances we'd be sharing love before the night was through? Something in your eyes was so inviting, something in your smile was so exciting, something in my heart told me I must have you. Strangers in the night, two lonely people, we were strangers in the night. Until that moment when we said our first hello, little did we know, love was just a glance away, a warm entrancing dance away. Entrancing? And ever since that night, we've been together, lovers at first sight, in love forever. It turned out so right, for strangers in the night. A-doo-be-doo-be-doo. That one needs some work, but I feel warmed up. Oh, thank you. I don't know if I deserve. Oh, thank you. It's lovely, though. It's lovely that you would do that. I would pretend that you would do that. Let's go check on the chat. Let's spin the wheel. Wheel. Feeling good. Movie? I'm not watching a movie. Let's spin the wheel. Forgot to load one for one thing. What did I just say? Ask me anything, chat. That's just mean. That's just mean. Wisdom. I always like to lay down some wisdom from on high. Welcome. I see you came here seeking wisdom. Well, you know, the Bible teaches us those who find true wisdom obtain the tools for understanding, the proper way to live, for they will have a fountain of blessing pouring into their lives. To gain the riches of wisdom is far greater than gaining the wealth of the world. As wisdom increases, a great treasure is imparted, greater than many bars, refined gold. Proverbs 3:14. So, let's find some wisdom. Here's something else from the Bible. It's a classic. A peaceful heart leads to a healthy body. Jealousy is like cancer in the bones. True. mind can make you weak or the mind can make you strong. Here's some teaching from the Talmud. Teach your tongue to say, I don't know, instead of to make up something. Good advice. One of my favorites. If God lived on earth, people would break his windows. Wisdom and love do not often coexist. Do not envy a violent man or choose any of his ways, for the Lord detests a perverse man, but takes the upright into his confidence. Also from the Talmud. It's a bottle of ink. Let's do some Alan Watts. Every individual wants you to know what makes him tick, and yet it is at once fascinated and frustrated by the fact that oneself is always the most difficult of things to know. Life is like music for its own sake. We are living in an eternal now, and when we listen to music, we are not listening to the past, we are not listening to the future. We are listening to an expanded present. Also Alan Watts. And with something as nice as that, let's sing another song. See if I can't do something a little bit better, man. That Strangers in the Night did not rock the way I wanted it to. But you know, that's life, that's life, that's what all the people say. You're riding high in April, shot down in May, but you know I'm gonna change that tune. When I'm back on top in June, I said that's life, and as funny as it may seem, some people get their kicks stomping on a dream, but you know I don't let it get me down, 'cause this broad old world, it keeps spinning around. I've been a puppet, a pauper, a pirate, a poet, a pawn and a king. I've been up and down and over and out, and I know one thing, each time I find myself flat on my face, I just pick myself up and get back in the race. That's life, that's life, that's life, and I can't deny it. Many times I thought of cutting out, but my heart just ain't gonna buy it. But if it comes worth one single try, I'm gonna roll myself up in a big ball and die. Bye-bye. I may have lost my train of thought and left out a couple of lyrics of the song. If you got a problem with that, say so in the chat, and I will chastise myself soundly. Nobody in the chat, though, so that's cool. One less thing to worry about. I made a mistake, but nobody saw it. Does it still count? I submit that it does not. Let's spin the wheel. Anything can happen when you spin the wheel, folks. Hope I get monologue. That's tough. Shakespeare? Joke! Hey, it's been a long time since we had a joke. Let's head on down to the theater. The blind man's seeing eye dog pissed on the blind man's shoe. The blind man said, "Here, Rover, here's a piece of beef for you." His wife said, "Don't reward him. You can't just let that pass." The blind man said, "I got to find his mouth so I can kick him in the ass." Jokes. The farmer had a champion bull bred at 2,000 times a year. Farmer's wife said, 2,000 times. Isn't that wonderful, dear? Maybe you ought to watch him. Maybe he'll show you how. Farmer said, he's a heck of a bull, but he wasn't all with the same cow. Come on. Let's check in on the chat. Let's check the connection. Encouragement. Hey, buddy. I'm watching and I'm really enjoying the stream. All right. Thank you very, very much, dog. You cheer me right up, my friend. What do you say we spin the wheel? Wheel. Come on, come on, come on. Give me something fun. Give me something fun. Oh, what do we got? Shakespeare! Yay! Let's head on down to the Shakespeare stage. We've been making our way through the sonnets, and we are now on number 24, Sonnet 24 by William Shakespeare. Mine eye hath played the painter, and hath stelled thy beauty's form and table of my heart. My body is the frame wherein 'tis held. Perspective, it is the painter's art. And through the painter must you see his skill, to find where your true image pictured lies, which in my bosom's shop is hanging still, that hath his windows glazed with thine eyes. Now see what good turns eyes for eyes have done. Mine eyes have drawn thy shape, and thine are me. Our windows to my breast, wherethrough the sun delights to peep, to gaze therein to thee. Yet eyes this cunning want to grace their art. They draw, but what they see, know not the heart. That's number 24. If I make it through all the way through, I win. A little contest I made up for myself. Let's check the chat. Like a jazzy background. Nobody in the chat, yeah. All alone on the internet is late night. Somewhere is late night, right here. It's getting silly. Let's go to the wheel. Wheel. All right, come on, Will. Help me out, buddy. Help me out, buddy. Something fun to do. Something time consuming. Feedback. The feedback right now is we're not watching, and I hear you loud and clear, my friend. Thanks for watching, no watchers. That's what I would say if there were people watching. Back to the wisdom. I like laying down wisdom from on high. It was Alan Watts who said, Jesus Christ knew that he was God. So wake up and find out eventually who you really are. In our culture, of course, they'll say you're crazy and you're blasphemous, and they'll either put you in jail or in a nut house, which is pretty much the same thing. However, if you wake up in India and tell your friends and relations, my goodness, I've just discovered that I'm God, they'll laugh and say, congratulations, at last you found out. We are all holy. We are all God. We are all, and we're all in it together. Let's spin the wheel. Spin. Something's wrong. I don't have a movie, first of all. Go back to the chat show. Wheel. Pointless. You know, a lot of people will say, oh, I'd do it even if nobody was watching. But few of us actually do it when no one's watching. Streaming, I mean. Here we go. Wisdom. Let's head on back. I could always use some more wisdom. Whoop, wrong button. There we go. Wisdom. We are living in a culture entirely hypnotized by the illusion of time, in which the so-called present moment is felt as nothing but an infinitesimal hairline between an all-powerfully causative past and an absorbingly important future. We have no present. Our consciousness is almost completely preoccupied with memory and expectation. We do not realize that there never was, is, nor will be any other experience than present experience. We are, therefore, out of touch with reality. We confuse the world as talked about, described, and measure with the world which actually is. We are sick for the fascination for the useful tools of names and numbers, of symbols, signs, conceptions, and ideas. Caught up in the symbols, losing sight of the big picture. That's what Zen's about. It's a finger pointing to the moon. Can't understand the moon itself, but study the finger. Let's check in the chat. Empty. Let's spin the wheel. Wheel. Limericks. Let's head on down to the Poetry Pagoda. A new category. A maiden at college, Ms. Breeze, weighed down by BAs and lit Ds, collapsed from the strain, said her doctor, it's plain, you're killing yourself by degrees. She studies. A mouse in her room woke Miss Dowd. She was frightened, it must be allowed. Soon a happy thought hit her. To scare off the critter, she sat up in bed and meowed. Not bad. A flea and a fly and a flew were in prison, so what could they do? Said the fly, let us flee, let us fly, said the flea. And they flew through a flaw in the flue. That was quite great. We're going to close it out with that one. I like that one. Let's check in on the chat. Let's spin the wheel. Poetry. I'm doing poetry anyway. I don't care. Still working on this for a while. I want to do some more. This is The Hunting of the Snark. Butch did fit the 6th and fit the 4th. This is fit the 6th. Hunting of the Snark by the brilliant Lewis Carroll. They sought it with thimbles. They sought it with care. They pursued it with forks and hope. They threatened its life with a railway share. They charmed it with smiles and soap. But the barrister, weary of proving in vain that the beaver's lace-making was wrong, fell asleep and in dreams saw the creature quite plain his fancy had dwelt in so long. He dreamed that he stood in a shadowy court where the snark with a glass in its eye, dressed in gown, bands, and wig, was defending a pig on the charge of deserting its sty. The witnesses proved without error or flaw that the sty was deserted when found, and the judge kept explaining the state of the law in a soft undercurrent sound. The indictment had never been clearly expressed, and it seemed that the snark had begun, and had spoken 3 hours before anyone guessed that the pig was supposed to have done. The jury had each formed a different view long before the indictment was read, and they all spoke at once, so that none of them knew one word that the others had said. You must know, said the judge, but the snark exclaimed, Fudge! That statue is obsolete, quite. Let me tell you, my friends, the whole question depends on an ancient manorial right. In the matter of treason, the pig would appear to have aided but scarcely abetted. While the charge of insolvency fails, it is clear, if you grant the plea, never indebted. The fact of desertion I will not dispute, but its guide, as I trust, is removed, so far as related to the costs of this suit, by the alibi which has been proved. My poor client's fate now depends on your votes. Here the speaker sat down in his place and directed the judge to refer to his notes and briefly to sum up the case. But the judge said he never had summed up before, so the snark undertook it instead. He summed it up so well that it came to far more than the witnesses ever had said. When the verdict was called for, the jury declined, as the word was so puzzling to spell. But they ventured to hope that the snark wouldn't mind undertaking that duty as well. So the snark found the verdict, although, as it owned, it was spent with the tolls of the day. When it said the word guilty, the jury all groaned, and some of them fainted away. Then the snark pronounced sentence, the judge being quite too nervous to utter a word. When it rose to his feet, there was silence like night, and the fall of a pin might be heard. Transportation for life was the sentence it gave, and then to be fined 40 pounds. The jury all cheered, but the judge had said he feared that the phrase was not legally sound. But their wild exultation was suddenly checked when the jailer informed them with tears such a sentence would have not had the slightest effect, as the pig had been dead for some years. The judge left the court looking deeply disgusted, but the snark, though a little aghast, as the lawyer to whom the defense has entrusted, went bellowing on to the last. Thus the barrister dreamed, while the bellowing seemed to grow every moment more clear, till he woke to the knell of a furious bell, which the bellman rang close at his ear. This is fit the seventh, the banker's fate. They sought it with thimbles, they thought that, this is fit the seventh, the banker's fate. They sought it with thimbles, they sought it with care, they pursued it with forks and hope. They threatened its life with a railway share, they charmed it with smiles and soap. And the banker, inspired with a courage so new it was a matter for general remark, rushed madly ahead and was lost to their view in his zeal to discover the snark. But while he was seeking with thimbles and care, a bandersnatch swiftly drew nigh, did not expect a bandersnatch, and grabbed at the banker, who shrieked in despair, for he knew it was useless to fly. He offered large discount, he offered a check, drawn to bearer for 70 pounds 10. But the bandersnatch merely extended its neck, grabbed at the banker again. Without rest or pause, with those frumious jaws, went savagely snapping around. He skipped and he hopped and he floundered and flopped, till fainting he fell to the ground. The bandersnatch fled as the others appeared, led on by that fear-stricken yell. And the bellman remarked, "It is just as I feared," and solemnly tolled on his bell. He was black in the face, and they scarcely could trace the least likeness to what he had been, while so great was his fright that his waistcoat turned white, a wonderful thing to be seen. To the horror of all who were present that day, he uprose in full evening dress, and with senseless grimaces endeavored to say that his tongue could no longer express. Down he sat in a chair, ran his hands through his hair, and chanted in melodious tones words whose utter inanity proved his insanity, while he rattled a couple of bones. "Leave him here to his fate. It is getting so late," the bellman explained in a fright. "We have lost half the day. Any further delay, and we shan't catch a snark before night." Oh, hey, hold on. Let's head on back to the check. Glad you made it, consequently. Now we can start the real stream. I'm glad you're here. I didn't know you'd come. I was just reading the Hunting of the Snark by Lewis Carroll to pass the time. Glad you're here. I know you got a lot of chores. It's Sunday, a lot of things going on. Just glad to see you. Hi! Welcome! Hope you're doing well. Check out all that. I've been fancying it up. I'm doing really well, thank you. Thanks for asking. I'm doing really well. I just got back. I went camping for one day. I do these wonderful one-day camping trips, and this time my family came with me. It was the last day of school, and then the day after that, we all went up to the mountains, the Smoky Mountains, where I have a little spot, and we just sat there and played in the creek and had a wonderful time all together. It was sunny and beautiful, and we got a week's worth of fun in one day, and it was really, really nice. We camped, and my wife cooked, and we had a lovely time. And then we came home and we all felt better. The day after tomorrow is my daughter's birthday. She's turning 8. Little Charlotte is turning 8, so we're having a big celebration for that, or big for us. We're gonna make a day of it, whatever it is. And then yeah, I always feel so good when I come back. I just feel so full. I don't know what it is out there, if it's the fresh air, the sunlight, there's something missing in my everyday life that I can feel my battery charging. And being around my family and seeing them enjoy the outdoors and laugh and play together, it doesn't get better than that. So I'm doing really well. How are you? How are you? I still want more details on Poland. I want like a top 10 list or something, the top 10 coolest things about Poland that I don't know, because I don't know lots of stuff about Poland. I don't know anything about Poland, except, Jarek lives there. So I'm always trying to find out more. I bet it was hard coming back. Nice that work gave you some time off. Must have been hard to leave. Tell me about it. Seriously, I'd like to know. I mean, there's nobody else, it's just us. So if you got a minute, just tell me what it felt like. Lots of tasty food. Oh, nice. Affordable in American dollars. I did not know that. These are the things I need to know. I had a brother. You'd think I know that. I used to travel down in the Caribbean all the time, but I never, like my brother, I have a brother, Andy, and he just got dental work done in Paraguay. It was cheaper to book a flight, get a hotel room at a resort, and have the dentists in Paraguay do his dental work than it would be to have an American do the dental work for him. That's how screwed up our system is. So he figured out a way to make it work. Smart guy. He's been in the Army. Ooh, well, I had to work a week over my regular hours to make it work. Oh, wow. So I got a bit burnt out. So you actually were able to work in Poland. That's very impressive. Delicious quality meal or two for like 12 bucks. Oh, that sounds nice. I'm thinking pierogi. That's the only thing I can think of that's Polish, and it might be Italian. Do you have a favorite Polish food? All I can think of is the sausage. That's so embarrassing. Oh, I should have studied up. Extra 40 hours before you left. Holy cow, really? Wow, that must have been a lot. Are you still, did you go to the office or do you still work at home? I lose track sometimes. Forgive me. Been doing a lot of smoking in my life, and I'm able to hold on to some things really well. Like, for example, my wife and I, when we were driving, it was about three hours up to the mountains. We played Monopoly in my head. Like, she held the phone and just told me what to roll, like told me what I rolled and where I landed, and I made the decisions, and I was able to keep the entire game in my head. That part of my brain, 100%. We put it down, came back 3 hours, all my properties, all the houses, where everything was, all still in my head. But I can't remember what day it is 3/4 of the time. It's a really fascinating thing. It's one of the things Butch is based on, is these blind spots you end up with when you damage your brain. Let's see, mix of both. Kielbasa is delicious. I've heard good things about kielbasa, a very good comedy food. Couple homemade ones, and they were amazing. Oh, that's so nice. I'm so glad you got to meet his family. Mix of both, office and out in the community. Did you get to take any romantic trips? Did you go to a park or to some place with a beautiful view, mountains? Is Sound of Music, is that in Poland? I want to know stuff. But still, I'm so glad you got a chance. Isn't traveling wonderful? Have you been to Europe before? I always find it so eye-opening just to be someplace, just to be an outsider. When you're home too much, you lose perspective on your teeny tiny little place in the world, I think, and you start to make bigger expectations on yourself. Sound of Music is Austria, which is near Poland, based on that Indiana Jones movie I saw. Never, lucky few people, but never Poland. Very nice. I passed through Europe when I was a baby. I was born in Iran, right? And then the first Christmas, I think I told you this before, we flew home. So the first thing I ever did was immigrate to the United States, pretty much. So we flew to England, so I was in the London airport for a couple hours. So technically I've been to Europe, but obviously I had no memory of it. It's so nice to travel. I miss traveling, I really do. I miss being different places. Actually getting there can be a huge pain in the butt. I like driving. I love the mountains. I could do like one road. I used to, like the first 10 years when I got married, it was 5 gigs a week. It was a show in Paducah on Wednesday and a show in Clarksville on Thursday, and Friday, Saturday was Knoxville, and then Monday was press, and then Tuesday and Wednesday was off, and then next week it was some other group of 5 cities across the country. I moved nonstop when I was in my 20s, and it wore me out then, but I loved it. It was very rewarding. It would wear me out a lot now. It'd be nice to do it though. I really do miss going up and down the roads. Although I guess with gas prices the way they are now is not the time. I'm still trying to figure out what's next. Doing nothing professionally is really freaking me out. Being at home with the kids and not getting paid. So, hey, this is what streaming's all about, huh? How about that? It's a weird personal stream of thought to nobody in particular. Thinking out loud. Yeah. Ooh, let's see what else is in the chat. I'm lucky to go to Europe a few times, never Poland. Hey, what do you think of the background? Is it all right? Look at that, huh? Eventually, I'm going to program that thing so I can put like, I'll have guests. They'll show up like in Space Ghost. They'll show up in the teleportation portal, the technology portal. That's what I'm going to call it, technology portal. And then I'm going to put some posters on the wall over there underneath the It's Only a Ride. That'll be fun. And maybe I'll have some kind of thing up here where it's like, following, the people who do things up there, their goals and whatnot. Like, hey, if I get 100 follows, I'll eat an egg, or whatever it is people do. I don't know how to do that yet, but watch this space. Something cool is going to happen up there. Maybe my name in neon. I don't know. Thank you for the kind words. How you doing now that you're back home? It must have been hard to leave, and then of course the jet lag is always very, very tough. Are you 100% yet? Are you back on your feet? And how's Eric doing? This has gone surprisingly well. Chat, I'm so happy to see you, consequently. Thank you for, there it is. Okay, I'm doing okay. The trip made me realize how burnt out I was at work. I lost some of the edges there. I got to fix that. How burnt out I was at work, so I'm working on making changes. Oh, good for you. Good for you. Perspective. It's the greatest gift in the world. Step back and take a look. Like me on the ships. If it hadn't been for the pandemic, I'd still be on the ships right now, making crazy money and being very, 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 very unhappy. So it's nice to step away and figure out what matters to you. Because what matters to you changes. You evolve. They say people don't change, but I disagree. I think people constantly change. Some of the hallmarks, murder is wrong, stuff like that, that stays the same. But, little taste things you said you'd never do, eventually you start wanting to do them. You become the things you used to hate. That's supposed to be one of fate's greatest curses. So it's nice to know what's important to you. Right now, what's important to me is family and creative time, and I've got both of those as much as I want. It's awesome. So I don't know why I feel a need to go out and earn to feel valid. Human nature, I suppose. Hey, let's spin the wheel. Well, hold on. I have an opportunity to change my role a bit and do more of the stuff I'm passionate about. I just have to sell my boss on it. Well, it sounds like you have a cool boss. It sounds like your boss gave you some flexibility, so that's pretty cool. Because capitalism, I know you gotta have money. I live real cheap. That's the secret. I own my house. I have this teeny tiny little 3-bedroom house. It's got 2 bathrooms, no big deal. And it's off on the side of town. And I bought it when I was like 23, right after the housing crash. So I don't have to pay rent. And the kids are in public school, and I don't do anything too fancy. I could do all this on a laptop and a green screen. This is $30, So. But what you are doing is still really important labor, so don't forget that. I wouldn't go so far as to call it labor, but creative work is work. It counts towards something, Like this. Look, I got my very own Johnny Millwater stream. Took me a whole year to figure it all out and try to figure out what my themes are and what feels right. I'm still working on it. It's still a work in progress, but got my favorite colors and stuff. That feels good. Thanks for saying such supportive things. I appreciate it. And I appreciate you taking the time to go out and see the world a little bit. Follow your heart, to share your story of finding love and doing whatever it takes to have it. I love stuff like that. I'm going to read a poem. You like reading? Nah, we're still doing the snark. I'm going to read a love poem. I'll find one. Feeling all motivated. Ode on a Grecian urn. I don't know if this is a love poem or not, but it's next. Thou still unravished bride of quietness, thou Fauster child. Fauster? Thou still unravished bride of quietness, thou foster child of silence and slow time, sylvan historian who canst thus express a flowery tale more sweetly than our rhyme. What leaf-fringed legend haunts us about thy shape, of deities or mortals or of both, in temp or the dales of Arcady? What man or gods are these? What maidens loath? What mad pursuit? What struggle to escape? What pipes and timbrels? What wild ecstasy? Heard melodies are sweet, but those unheard are sweeter. Therefore, ye soft pipes play on. Not to the sensual ear, no, more endeared. Pipe to the spirit ditties of no tone. Fair youth, beneath the trees, thou canst not leave thy song, nor ever can those trees be bare. Bold lover, never, never canst thou kiss, thou winning near the goal yet. Do not grieve, he cannot fade, though thou hast not thy bliss. Forever wilt thou love, and she be fair. Ah, happy, happy boughs, that cannot shed your leaves, nor ever bid the spring adieu, and happy melodist, unwearied, forever piping songs forever new. More happy love, more happy, happy love, forever warm and still to be enjoyed, forever panting and forever young, all breathing human passion far above, that leaves a heart high sorrowful and cloyed, a burning forehead and a parching tongue. Who are these coming to the sacrifice? To what green altar, O mysterious priest, leadst thou that heifer lowing in the skies, and all her silken flanks with garlands dressed? What little town by river or seashore, or mountain built with peaceful citadel, is emptied of this folk, this pious morn? And, little town, thy streets forevermore will silent be, and not a soul to tell why thou art desolate and e'er return. O Attic shape, fair attitude with breed of marble men and maidens overwrought, with forest branches and the trodden weed, thou, silent form, dost tease us out of thought, as doth eternity, cold pastoral, when old age shall this gentleman waste, thou shalt remain in midst of other woe than ours, a friend of man, to whom thou sayest, beauty is truth, truth beauty, that is all ye need on earth, and all ye need to know. Kind of about love. Sorry, I got all excited. I got all inspired by your love story, and I wanted to dive into a love. I don't have any love songs in a love story. I don't really like love songs, so it was mostly just, I guess Strangers in the Night's a love song. Anyway, you'll get it. Thanks for watching. That's the point I'm trying to make. That was a fun poem. I never read that poem before, Ode to a Grecian Urd. I quite enjoyed that. Delightful. So, well, I guess you're probably still running errands. Let's spin the wheel. Wheel. Oh, thank you very much. Yay, clap emojis. Oh, I changed the thing just in time, so I missed the clap emojis. Oh, that's very kind. Thank you. Here we go. Any second now. Oh, what's going to happen? Shakespeare! Yay, let's head to the Shakespeare stage. This is Sonnet 25 by William Shakespeare. Let those who are in favor with their stars of public honor and proud titles boast, whilst I, whom fortune of such triumph bars, unlooked for joy in that I honor most. Great princes' favorites their fair leaves spread, but as the marigold at the sun's eye, and in themselves their pride lies buried, for at a frown they in their glory die. The painful warrior, famous for fight, after 1,000 victories once foiled, is from the book of honor raised quite, and all the rest forgot for which he toiled. Then happy I that love and am beloved, where I am, may not remove, nor be removed. At some point, I guess beloved and removed. Remove it, beloved, removed. Nah, that doesn't rhyme, but what the hell? He's William Shakespeare, I'm just some guy. Well done, buddy. That's number 25. I don't mind you being a little low on the response. Not even a little bit. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why, consequently. I don't mind you being low in the response because before you came in, there was no response. It was just a crazy guy talking to the camera alone. Now I feel that connection. I'm glad you're here. Don't respond. Relax. Let me entertain you. I got, here, spin the wheel. Wheel. Riddles! Let's head on down to the riddle room. What can't talk, but will reply when spoken to? What can't talk, but will reply when spoken to? What can't talk, but can reply when spoken to? The answer? An echo! It was an echo. Fix that. Ah, well, let's spin the wheel. Song! Let's head on down to the theater. Sing a song. How about... Here, you like this one and I like this one. It says it's just us. This is Everyone is Gay by Great Big World. If you're gay, then you're gay. Don't pretend that you're straight. You can be who you are any day of the week. You are unlike the others, so strong and unique. We're all with you. If you're straight, well, that's great. You can help procreate and make gay little babies for the whole human race. Make a world we can live in where the one that you love's not an issue. 'Cause we're all somewhere in the middle. We're all just looking for love to change the world. Ah, what if the world stops spinning tomorrow? We can't stop running away from who we are. Ah, ah, if you're gay, then you're gay. If you're straight, well, that's great. If you fall in between, that's the best way to be. You've got so many options. Every fish in the sea wants to kiss you. Mwah. Aw. 'Cause we're all somewhere in the middle. We're all just looking for love to save the world. Ah, ah, what if the world stops spinning tomorrow? We can't keep running away from who we are. Ah, ah, everyone is gay. Hooray! Da, 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 da. Waiting for the applause button. Yay! We'll just all pretend I was clapping. Oh, Kali's here. Let's go to the chat. Howdy, Kali. We were just talking about you, man, and her grand adventure. She's running errands, consequently. For those of you just joining, consequently, and Kali love each other on different sides of the planets. It's a beautiful story, and every now and then they come into my chat together. Makes me feel very special. Glad you're here, Yarrick. Sorry, buddy. Glad you're here, Yarrick. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing fantastic. I just got back from a camping trip, I was just telling her. I was up in the Smoky Mountains of America. It's lovely. Filled up my battery, and I'm feeling really, really good. The kids just got out of school. My daughter has her birthday coming up next week. And, oh, we were talking about you, and just that I think you're cool and that your love story is inspiring. That's all. I didn't ask her any personal questions. Nothing was revealed about you. But I got a big week coming up. I hope you're doing well. I was just hearing about how good kielbasa was. She had home-cooked kielbasa. That's nice. No worries. All right. Well, I tell you what, since you're here, is there anything on your mind? You're mad? Uh-oh, man, no problem. I understand. Is it the heartbreak? Is it the sadness of having love in your life and then the love is lost, even though she's still there, even though she still loves you, the inability to touch her? Is that weighing heavy on your heart? Because I know how that goes. I've had a long-distance relationship thing pretty much my whole life because I've been traveling down the state. Yeah. Julia, for those folks at home, is consequently. Well, she's here. Sort of. Can't find a word. Oh, no! What's the market like in Poland? Now, I know you're a software engineer, unless I'm mistaken, right? So you could work for a company anywhere in the world. You could work for an American company, you could work for a Japanese company, or a Polish software company. But the floppy disks are kind of hard to... Anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is, see what I did there? I made a Polish joke. That's tasteless. One person's Polish, the other person's in love with a Polish person, and I'm gonna make Polish jokes? That's a dick move. I don't feel great about it. Wasn't even that good a joke. But remember floppy disks? Those were fun. Anywho, yeah, I wish I could say something more helpful. I don't even have any ideas. I don't even have any ideas for apps. I don't have anything we can do together. Right now I'm playing Stardew Valley, which is a ridiculous OCD enhancer. And I'm told it's designed by one person, which is why I bring it up. It was just one person designed the whole game. It's just basically, you have a farm and you raise crops, and then you go mining, then you go exploring and you fight monsters. It's very, very simple. It looks like it's on the original Nintendo, the NES Classic. But it's ridiculous the amount of time I put into this game. It's on my phone, or I would use it probably doing it right now. I would have spent the whole first half of the stream when it was empty, just watering my crops and whatnot, because it just gets right on your OCD. I don't know if you guys have OCD. I dabble. But the three things that you enjoy the most are touching, right? You touch all the items, and that's what half the game is. Placing, yeah, I like placing, and arranging. Those three things, and the whole game is that. So it's just been eating up all my free time when I should be designing more of this. But, oh, have you played it? Yes, awesome. I'm really, really enjoying it. Excellent. Hey, do you design games? Do you design apps? Have you done any work that I might be familiar with? I'm not a crazy computer savvy guy, but man, that game will suck up your time and make you feel like you accomplished something, when I assure you we have not. You have a favorite video game? I like to know. I like to know a musician's favorite song. You know what I mean? So, what is the game that inspires you? What's the game you look at and go, man, I wish I could be working on something like that? Like for me, stand-up comedy was John Mulaney makes me feel like that. Dave Chappelle makes me feel like that. Louis C.K. made me feel like that. Damn, why can't I be doing that? Not, this comedy. So, I'd be really interested to know, what are the games? I know the game most hated was the E.T. on Atari. And I had OCD so bad, I played that for hundreds of hours when I was a kid. I didn't even know it was a bad game. I just thought I was stupid and couldn't figure it out. Yeah. But do you have a favorite video game? Which face? I'm back. Well, hold that. Oh, there's something. Oh yeah, E.T. wasn't that bad as people are saying. It took up many, many hours of my day. So there you go. I tell you what, I want you to think about your favorite video game. And again, hey, Julia, he's here. Colleagues in the chat, come on in, consequently, catch up with each other, spend some time. I'm gonna spin the wheel. We'll see what happens. Wheel. I'm also getting coffee while spinning the wheel. The wheel serves two purposes. It controls the flow of the show, and it also takes attention off me when I need to step outside of the frame for a moment to grab coffee, smoke a cigarette, go pee, something like that. The cord's not long enough for me to go pee, but you get it. Ooh, video game. Oh, we do so well on these. There are so many. Well, my favorite video game. Let's try it right now. Beep, 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 beep. You know how this works. Type in four-letter words, four-letter or bigger. For the folks at home, it's IDVLNIA. Idvlnia. The villain is two L's. Oh, invalid. Journey. I'm not familiar with Journey. Would you tell me about Journey? I'm not familiar with the band. Very nice. I was going to do that one next. Let's see. Is Journey, what kind of game is Journey? Is it on the Nintendo Switch? Because I'll try it. Navdil. Avid. Huh? There we go. Editing system for invalid. We did nivalid. Anvalid. Oh, livid. Nicely done. Way to get in there, consequently. Playing this game with people from all over the world. This is so much fun. I can't believe I know somebody in Connecticut. Invalid. Invalid. Valid. Invalid. Invalid is spelled the same as invalid, not as helpful. Oh, almost. Naive. There's no E. Band. Valid. Avid. Veed. Nail. Nice. I snatched nail from you. Can't have it. That's mine now. Branch Davidian. Livedian. Lid. Villain. Valid. We're almost there. Vanilla. Come on. Ah, well. Aww. Only 2 players. It's made for 4 or 5. I thought we did great. Let's take a look at the score. There it is. All right. I got 23. Tie. Consequently, you almost took the lead. You haven't beat me in one of these yet, but you almost beat me that time. We had the exact same score. And Kali, you didn't even try, dude. Fine if you don't do well, but to not try, I mean, that's un-American. Oh, that's right. You did try? Oh, okay, if you were okay, in that case, I take it back. Sorry, buddy. That was a tough one. So tell me about Journey. Is Journey a, let's say, probably my favorite video game of all time? Final Fantasy 20 was pretty great. Spent 1,000 million hours doing that, collecting doing all the side quests and everything. Final Fantasy X, not 20. I haven't got to 20 yet. That's not on any of the systems I own. Right now, I have little kids. Like my son, he's turning 13 in November, so that's about the time I think we're going to be getting like a PlayStation or something where we can play a little bit more adult games. Although Mortal Kombat is on the Switch, and you can take a guy's head off with your penis on that game, so I don't understand what the rules and regulations are. Hard game to explain, but it's beautiful. I should look it up. Okay. I happen to have a computer right here in front of me. Journey. Game. Julia's favorite. It's from Game Company. It's soar above ruins that glide across sands as you explore the secrets of a forgotten civilization. Featuring stunning visuals, haunting music, and unique online play. Oh, that's very pretty. Looks like you're walking through the desert. Moses would love that game. Chrono Trigger. Now, I know there's a whole bunch of different versions of Chrono Trigger. Let me go take a look at that. I remember Chrono Trigger on the original NES. Let me see if we're talking about the same thing. Chrono Trigger. It's on Switch. 1995 role-playing game. That's the year before I graduated high school. By Square. Okay, this is the one that I played. This is great. Super Nintendo. Very, very nice. Ooh, yeah, I love role-playing games. I love things that take a really, really long time to unlock. That's why I'm really enjoying the placing in this. But I also like leveling up. The leveling up makes me so happy. Remember in Final Fantasy where you go from Padawan to Jedi or whatever the hell, where you change the animation, you find the rat tail, and you go from being a journeyman warrior to being a real warrior. You go from being a magic user to a wizard. That's like my favorite thing in the world. I love it when that happens in video games. That feels great. Yeah, fascinating story. Chrono Trigger is very good. Let's spin the wheel. Ooh, Final Fantasy VII. That's great. Did you try the Redux? I heard the Redux was gorgeous. I bought the old one by accident. I tried to buy the Redux, but I bought the original, and I couldn't talk myself into, oh, you have to eat? Okay, bye, buddy. Shakespeare. It'll be just me and Julia now. That's fine. Let's head on down to the Shakespeare stage. We're still on the sonnets. You know what? I'm sick of the sonnets. I'm going to do This a dagger before me. Macbeth. This a dagger which I see before me, the handle towards my hand. Come, let me clutch thee. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. Art thou not, fatal vision, sensible to feeling as to sight? Or art thou but a dagger of the mind, false creation proceeding from the heat-oppressed brain? I see thee yet, in a form as palpable as this which now I draw. Thou marshallest me the way that I was going, and such an instrument I was to use. Mine eyes are made the fools of the other senses, or else worth all the rest. I see thee still. Now on thy blade and dudgeon gouts of blood, which was not so before. There was no such thing. It is the bloody business which informs thus to mine eyes. Now o'er the one half world nature seems dead, and wicked dreams abuse the curtailed sleep. Witchcraft celebrates pale Hecate's offerings, and withered murder, alarumed by his sentinel, the wolf, which howls his watch thus with stealthy pace. With Tarquin's ravishing strides, towards his design moves like a ghost. Thou sure and firm-set earth, hear not my steps, which way they walk, for fear thy very stones prate of my whereabout. Take the present horror from the time, now suits with it. Whiles I threat, he lives, words to the heat of deeds too cold breath gives. I go. It is done. The bell invites me. Hear it not, Duncan, for it is a knell that summons thee to heaven. The applause isn't working anymore. It's weird. There we go. I'll do that. Nice. Later. Ask me anything. I'm gonna help. Why not? Let's head on down to the movie house.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
You know, wise men say the truth is in the silence. Let's spin the wheel. Song! Yay! I love to sing. Let's head on down to the theater. This is I've Been to Georgia on a Fast Train by Billy Joe Shaver. On a rainy, windy morning, that's the day that I was born in that old sharecropper's one-room country shack. They say my mammy left me same day that she had me, said she hit the road and never once looked back. And I just thought I'd mention my grandma's old age pension is the reason why I'm standing here today. I got all my country learning, working and a churning, picking cotton, raising hell and baling hay. I've been to Georgia on a fast train, honey. I wasn't born no yesterday. I got a good Christian raising and an 8th grade education. Ain't no needin' y'all treating me this way. Oh, now, sweet Carolina, I don't guess she'll ever find another woman put together like you are. With your wiggle and your walking and your big city talking and your brand new shiny Plymouth ragtop car. Yes, hurry up and wait. In this world of give and take, seems like haste makes for waste every time. And I pray to my soul when you hear those ages roll, you better know I'm gonna get my share of mine. I've been to Georgia on a fast train, honey. I wasn't born no yesterday. I got a good Christian raising and an 8th grade education. Ain't no needin' y'all treating me this way. Come on, applause. Help me out. Feel like a jerk. Worked on that. Let's spin the wheel again. Wheel. Joke. Let's head on back to the theater. Ole went to the neighborhood dance and he won a big door prize. It was a toilet brush. He took it home. The next week, one of the guys said, Ole, how's that toilet brush, the one you won from the neighbors? Ole said, well, it works pretty good, but I prefer toilet paper. Let's spin the wheel. Wheel. Monologue! Back to the theater for another performance piece. Ooh, monologues. Let's see if I can find a fun one. Let's do There is Something Wrong with This Country from V for Vendetta. Good evening, London. Allow me first to apologize for this interruption. I do, like many of you, appreciate the comforts of everyday routine, the security of the familiar, the tranquility of repetition. I enjoy them as much as any bloke. But in the spirit of commemoration, thereby those important events of the past, usually associated with someone's death or the end of some awful bloody struggle, a celebration of a nice holiday, I thought we could mark this November the 5th, a day that is sadly no longer remembered, by taking some time out of our daily lives to sit down and have a little chat. There are, of course, those who do not want us to speak. I suspect even now orders are being shouted into telephones, and men with guns will soon be on their way. Why? Because while the truncheon may be used in lieu of conversation, words will always retain their power. Words offer the means to meaning, and for those who will listen, the enunciation of truth. And the truth is, there's something terribly wrong with this country, isn't there? Cruelty and injustice, intolerance and oppression. And where once you had the freedom to object, to think and speak as you saw fit, you now have censors and systems of surveillance coercing your conformity and soliciting your submission. How did this happen? Who's to blame? Well, certainly there are those who are more responsible than others, and they will be held accountable. But again, truth be told, you're looking for the guilty. You need only look into a mirror. I know why you did it. I know you were afraid. Who wouldn't be? War, terror, disease. There were a myriad of problems which conspired to corrupt your reason and rob you of your common sense. Fear got the best of you, and in your panic, you turned the now High Chancellor, Adam Sutler. He promised you order. He promised you peace. And all he demanded in return was your silent, obedient consent. Last night, I sought to end that silence. Last night, I destroyed the Old Bailey to remind this country what it has forgotten. More than 400 years ago, a great citizen wished to embed the 5th of November forever in our memory. His hope was to remind the world that fairness, justice, and freedom are more than words. So if you've seen nothing, if the crimes of this government remain unknown to you, then I would suggest you allow the 5th of November to pass unmarked. But if you see what I see, if you feel as I feel, if you would seek as I seek, then I ask you to stand beside me 1 year from tonight, outside the gates of Parliament, and together we shall give them a 5th of November that shall never, ever be forgot. Wrong button. That was a serious monologue. The applause is being a jerk. Well, I'll have to restart it sometime. I love the movie too. Isn't it great? Have you read the book? It's a fantastic, it's a really, 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 really good graphic novel. And I highly recommend you check it out. Let's go to the talk show desk. Chad Shelley. I love that movie too. Having fun picking out monologues. Do you think of any other ones you can think of? I got a whole bunch from Dead Poets Society and V for Vendetta and a couple other ones. But I'm still shopping for more, you know. Well, let's spin the wheel. Glad you're still there. Thanks for putting a word in the chat. V. Hugo Weaving is the man. What a jip. I don't know if you saw the new Matrix movie, but they put somebody else in his part because he wasn't available, and the guy just did not get it. Movie, forget it. I don't have a movie loaded. I'm sorry. Here we go. Hugh Weaving, if you have a chance, there's a movie called The Interview. It's based on a two-hander play. It's just two guys. It's a cop interviewing someone. I believe it's in Scotland. But Hugo Weaving plays the person being interviewed, and it's just a fascinating performance. Again, The Interview on Netflix. Really, really good Hugo Weaving. Lots of close-ups of his awesome face. All right, let's check out. Let's go back to another monologue. Why not? As much as the next fella. This one. Let's see. This is Murrow's attack on McCarthy from Goodbye and Good Luck, based on an actual speech given by Edward R. Murrow, I believe, to his fellow journalists. No one familiar with the history of this country can deny that congressional committees are useful. It is necessary to investigate before legislating. But the line between investigating and persecuting is a very fine one, and the junior senator from Wisconsin has stepped over it repeatedly. His primary achievement has been confusing the public mind as between the internal and the external threats of communism. We must not confuse dissent with disloyalty. We must remember always that accusation is not proof, and the conviction depends upon evidence and due process of law. We will not walk in fear of one another. We will not be driven by fear into an age of unreason if we dig deep into our history and our doctrine. And remember that we are not descended from fearful men, not from men who feared to write, to associate, to speak, and to defend the causes that were, for the moment, unpopular. This is no time for men who oppose Senator McCarthy's methods to keep silent, or for those who approve. We can deny our heritage and our history, but we cannot escape responsibility for the results. We proclaim ourselves, indeed, we are, the defenders of freedom, wherever it continues to exist in the world. But we cannot defend freedom abroad by deserting it at home. The actions of the junior senator from Wisconsin have caused alarm and dismay amongst our allies abroad and given considerable comfort to our enemies. And whose fault is that? Not really his. He didn't create the situation of fear. He merely exploited it, and rather successfully. Cassius was right. The fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars, but in ourselves. Good night. Good luck. Edward R. Murrow. Fantastic. They don't make journalists anymore. Studied journalism in college. Just enough to know that everybody's doing it exactly wrong. As soon as it became about drawing eyes, as opposed to providing information, the whole thing fell apart. Well, Edward R. Murrow. It's inspiring to speak such brilliant words. Let's check back in the chat. Interesting. You think it's more divisive now than it was back then? You know, I'm not sure. I think it's always been kind of a 50-50 split. I think they keep us that way. I don't know if it's on purpose or if it just works out. They see the 50-50 split and they try to maintain it. We're less divided by race now, but more divided by politics, you know, red and blue, whatever the hell that is. Nobody cared about red and blue 50 years ago, not the level that we're at. I think we're always kind of split right down the middle. I think there's always sort of a balance. I think balance is the driving force in all of the universe. And I think we're always going to be split right down the middle, but for different reasons. You know, maybe it's food, maybe it's location, maybe it's politics, maybe it's religion, maybe it's sexuality, maybe it's the politics of sexuality. But we find more people to bond with. Now that all these new doors of communication have been opened, then we also find more people to think we're better than, to judge, or to be curious about. If you can have a curious mind instead of judging, which is what I try to do. I agree. I guess maybe what I was thinking is that it's more overt. Oh, it's a great word. Yes. Not even trying anymore. They used to be slick about it, manipulating people. Now it's just laid right on top. Just, hey, I'm completely full of shit, and how do you like that? Gross. I can't understand. I understand all the money that's being spent on political ads, all the money that's being spent on smearing the other opponent, and just programming people. It'd be spent feeding. You know, why is that legal? Why can't we get a handle on that? Why don't they get press by doing good? Do some actual good. See if the press notices. They used to. But definitely, if people were unified, things would change. So it isn't the benefit of those in power for us to understand each other. That's absolutely true. And I really think it is human nature to be divided. I think it's human nature to feel better than, or to want to feel better than. You know, rich people feel better than poor people because they have more education and more intelligence and more, you know, objects. They're cleaner, they smell better. And poor people feel better than rich people because we're morally superior. We care more about doing the right thing. We care more about music. We care more about art. We care more about the life of humanity. We don't care so much about money. Everybody wants to feel better than everybody else. And I don't know if there's a way around that. We just have to find things we can all agree on and concentrate on those things, bring attention to those things. I don't know if it's human nature, but I think we are taught that it is. Yeah. No, when I work on cruise ships, we're right down the middle too. The people who are working on the bottom decks think the people in the entertainment department are uppity. The people in the entertainment department think the folks who are working on the lower decks are peasants. I've actually heard them referred to as peasants by real live actual people. I don't know. I do think that people are fundamentally good and concerned with others. We are just taught that those things are to be valued. We love each other. We want to take care of each other. It's just when we group up. Individually, we're okay. I don't think I'm better than my wife. I don't think I'm better than my kids. It doesn't work that way. I am better than group, this imaginary thing. False speech, they call it in Buddhism. The idea that those people, anytime you're thinking of those people, whether it's a race or the Democrats or the Republicans, the libs, whatever, it's false speech. I think it's called amitada, and it's bad for you. It's all bullshit. It's bad for you. Now, our instinct is to take care of each other, but we are being programmed against our instincts with constant bombardment of media messages of all kinds by incredibly sophisticated technology and craft. The people who make these ads know what they're doing. They're 1,000 times better than the people who made them 10 years ago and jamming the thoughts into our heads. I don't want them in there. I try not to watch commercials, but they still jam them in. And I like comedy, so I get enough politics in my life because that's all they talk about in the late night shows. I love late night shows. But anyway, we all love each other. That's the important thing. Let's sing a song. I like this one. Sit back. You don't have to work so hard. It makes me tired to watch you try. Relax. You've already played your cards. and I know which ones are a lie. It makes me really sad to see the things you think you have to be just to be enough for me. You already are. Why can't you just look at you in the same way that I do? Through all that's false and all that's true, I like you as you are. I know that you can get sad sometimes. I see it mostly when you smile. Let go of all of your supposed crimes. Just be with me for a while. I know it may be hard to hear, but all your tricks are really clear. I see right through your slick veneer to the secret life you hide. Why can't you just look at you in the same way that I do? For all that's false and all that's true, I like you as you are. Take me in, believe me when I say you're more than just okay. You're perfect as you are. That's As You Are by Garfunkel and Oates, a brilliant comedy duo who also wrote that particular beautiful song. People are made to love each other, and they're made to fear the outside. People know how to program that. People know how to program human nature and human psychology. Make them money, basically. It eventually comes down to giving them power. And the power is to make them and their friends more money. Greed puts you in the eyes of fear. Once you have all that money, somebody's going to come take it. Gotta lock it all up. Lock your doors. Get a security system. Get a gun. No good. No good. Well, we're almost out of time. I feel like doing just a ride. Let's head on down to the theater. This is, if I can find it, there it is. This is Just a Ride by Bill. Happens to be my theory of how the world works. The world is like a ride in an amusement park, and when you choose to go on it, you think it's real because that's how powerful our minds are. And the ride goes up and down and round and round. It has thrills and chills, and it's very brightly colored, and it's very loud, and it's fun for a while. Some people have been on the ride for a long time, and they begin to question, is this real, or is this just a ride? And other people have remembered, and they come back to us, and they say, hey, don't worry, don't be afraid, ever, because this is just a ride. And we kill those people. Shut him up! We have a lot invested in this ride. Shut him up! Look at my furrows of worry. Look at my big bank account and my family. This just has to be real. Just a ride. But we always kill those good guys who try and tell us that. You ever notice that? And let the demons run amok? But it doesn't matter because it's just a ride. And we can change it anytime we want. It's only a choice. No effort, no work, no job, no savings of money. A choice right now between fear and love. The eyes of fear make you want to put bigger locks in your doors, buy guns, close yourself off. The eyes of love instead see all of us as one. But here's what we can do to change the world right now to a better ride. Take all that money we spend on weapons and defense each year and instead spend it on feeding, clothing, and educating the poor of the world, which it would, many times over, not one human being excluded, and we can explore space together, both inner and outer, forever, in peace. That's by the brilliant stand-up comic Bill Hicks. A lot of wisdom to be found in comedy, folks. Well, about time to go. I hope everybody had some fun. By everybody, I mean you, not sequentially. Thanks for tuning in. Give my thanks to Eric. Next time you talk to him, I really appreciate it when you're here. I'll be working on it on the stream. If you have any suggestions, you know how to reach me. I'll be back. Butch will be back on Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. I hope to see you there. Tell some friends. We'll get some more regulars in the room and we'll make it go. I hope you're having a great day, and I hope I get to see you again soon. And thanks for sharing this time with me. I'm just an old chunk of coal, but I'm gonna be a diamond someday. I'm gonna glow and grow till I'm so blue. perfect. I'm gonna put a smile on everybody's face. I'm gonna kneel and pray every day, lest I should become vain along the way. I'm just an old chunk of coal now, Lord, but I'm gonna be a diamond someday. I'm gonna learn the right words to talk. I'm gonna search and find a better way to walk. I'm gonna spit and polish my old rough hedged self till I get rid of every single flaw. I'm gonna be the world's best friend. I'm gonna go around shaking everybody's hand. I'm gonna be the cotton picking rage of the age. I'm gonna be a diamond someday. Thanks for watching. Love somebody, love yourself, then love somebody else. Oh, hey, Bo. Welcome. It's over. Hopefully I'll see you at the thing. Bye.